What you need to know about the poisoning. This video is going to be about the poisoning. See what time it is? It's 2:25 in the morning today, and that's why I did in front of the mirror. I checked my hair. I washed my hair today. What's new, you're gonna say, right? Yeah, a whole lot of stuff. There is a video I did not dedicate to the poisoning, about how poisoning is done. And in a little bit I will give you technical details. In short description, poisoning is identical to what you read about car manufacturing problems, for instance. Recalls. You know what the companies do, recalls? They do recalls on different issues. I'm just using a car manufacturing as an example because you guys are more familiarized with news you read in the media. But the thing is that precisely everything is that clock right there certainly has a certain recall. What exactly that means? Recall is when you have customers coming in the stores where your merchandise or car dealerships was distributed. It can be a store with the lights, it can be a store with the plates, with whatever there might be. And the customers, over the course of time, some customers report certain, what is known as a defects. So that brings us to the next picture. A chain of these defects. A chain means like one after another, so that you would have this same mistake. The same mistake, it would be like, let's say, on this particular clock, let's say it would be, I don't know, maybe a second's hand that would fell off or something like that. Let's just suppose this stuff. Every merchandise have more or less a problem. Radio, cars, maybe it's a transmission, maybe it's airbag that doesn't open. Maybe on your watch is water that gets in, or I don't know, maybe the belt has problems and is dysfunctional, or anything like this is sent to designated services when it comes to cars. When it comes to oh, Philips, yeah, they have shops, services where they would service your merchandise. Take that to Toyota, authorized dealer, and they will process this defects for companies itself, whether that be Philips, Sony, Honda, BMW, Mercedes, establish reliability of these products, let's say. How, the customers also get questions, how reliable do you think it is, and so on. And so everything is computerized. All the evidence it's all evidence to the computers. And if there is a certain mistake that appears in a particular product too often, recall is being made, especially if it does have an impact on a safety or something like that, brakes or something. There you have it. So what this got to do with this? All right, I was gonna take some time if I would explain you this issue, but since I did, it makes sense to explain directly how the poisoning worked. Well, not everybody is authorized shop. On the side you have little shops. Authorized shops, if you're out of warranty, they are going to charge you for repairs. And authorized shops are going to charge you a whole lot of more money for repairs than a small shops where you can take the side mechanics or unauthorized mechanics or technicians in your store, in your local stores that you have in the city, and they'll do the repair for you. However, you're going to have to cover your costs, right? If it's out of warranty and so on. Or maybe it's just too expensive to service your merchandise, whatever the issue might be. If you're buying from AliExpress or eBay and such, most likely that is the case. That, however, doesn't mean that people in your country or for a police doesn't have access to the merchandise that is being distributed from the third country, let's say. Third country meaning outside of the European Union. What exactly that means? That means they're using shops, local shops, bigger shops, to find out exactly in a procedure of causing you harm through the mail, through the mailing services, through, if they anticipated they will sabotage, if the police will sabotage the merchandise you order through the internet or even purchase inside of the store, they will first find out from, in my case, even from manufacturers, what exactly is there to expect from certain merchandise, how one will perform. In Novo Mesto, all the shops, all the repair shops, whether that be for the computers especially, whether that be for electronic repair, whether that be hair cutting, absolutely everything, everybody, the whole city absolutely was involved. And this is nothing new, because it was the dentists, it was physicians, all the way to Ljubljana, all the way to Krško, Brežice, that were involved in it. So I did spoke about that. That's something that should not surprise. Yes? So what exactly that means is that if you want to prove somebody is schizophrenia, you will have to sabotage this individual based on manufacturers' most frequent issues that touch certain item for which you anticipate will be ordered from the internet. And this is the way it was done. Or sabotage one inside of his home, inside of his residence, in such a way so that it would depict the individual as careless, a rather dirty individual, not well organized, disorganized, something that you would typically read under the whichever mental illness they label the victim with. And in my case, they labeled me already when I was a child as a paranoid schizophrenic, and have worked their way throughout my life till I was eventually 41 years old in 2012, 40 years old in 2012, and have officially give me a title of a paranoid schizophrenic. So if you are involved in MK Ultra, already you got to understand that based on their actions, based on their torture procedures against you, you will know exactly what type of mental illness they will officially label you. Because to reach that status, to officially label you with something that you are not, They have to cause a considerable amount of damage. They have to portray you throughout the life that you fit into that category. And they did their best through employment, through absolutely through the contacts, through absolutely every aspect in life of one. Now, I didn't get any kind of proofs for any schizophrenia. They were afraid to even give the second opinion, which is the law. They did not respect even decisions from the courts, and they did not allow me to even use attorneys in a process. They disallow me to even attend the court procedure. They lost cases against me in respect to a car theft, parts theft, and so on. They have established a chain of failure in my case and did not manage to prove absolutely anything. Even after they officially titled me in 2012 as a paranoid schizophrenic, but that should not serve them as a problem, is what they claimed, because they will get this kind of proof in the future. And that's what they tried very desperately to do, setting me up where they anticipated, you know, they could rationalize through a suite area supervised by cameras, like, you know, for general public and so on, like home for elderly people and so on, shopping malls, that kind of stuff. So let's go back to the meaning of this video, the point in this video. It must have been the second grade of the grammar school when the teachers I think it was Smolic actually, Vesna Smolic, a teacher of Slovenian language, maybe third grade, I don't know. When she mentioned to me a paranoid schizophrenia issue, accordingly with instructions from London, from the British Royals, from the London. I just want to make fucking point that it's not going to be, oh, we got nothing to do with it. This video is about how much you guys precisely have to do with it. You had absolutely everything to do with it throughout my life. It doesn't work when Prince William arrived here in this house or other royals arrived in this house and they went on to blame this type of stuff, which is a soap bar I'm using to shave myself for this side, this issue here. Two more they created. This is the stuff I will be talking to you about today. That cannot be, but the point is that it was disputed and it doesn't make any fucking sense. That actually applied to the girls from Thailand, to the royal girls from Thailand, to the Siri Vanavari and Bairikiti Appa, the two princesses. The two did not know about any of this stuff. They did not participate in this kind of stuff. They didn't know about. There is a strong possibility that Thai royals did not know about precisely what went on inside here. British, however, absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. British royals had me at one point in time absolutely on 24/7 video surveillance throughout the house, with ability to observe the whole ordeal literally from London. How the fuck this stuff was done, What the fuck was this stuff was done? I don't know, but it was several royals that would be on a watch that would change themselves, relatives from Andrew, from Charles, that would change themselves, it's what they claimed, and watched about my whereabouts inside of the house, how I was moving, because they further claimed that they did not know why I had so many health problems. It's very important to say, because it's a lie. They paid, they ordered this stuff. They financed this type of procedure and another. That's what the problem I have with these people. Yeah, a little earlier I demonstrated you the clock. You could maybe even say, think about this guy's clocked out because he's doing this kind of stuff at this time of the hour. I'm not clocked out. I know exactly what the fuck I'm doing at this time of the hour. A little earlier, I was washing my hair, and then I was shaving myself. And here we are. How many of you would you do this at this time of the hour? I bet none. And if you would, you probably would say yourself, I'm crazy. Yes, you can do this if you have a choice. But if you don't have a choice, you just do it. Or you don't do it. It's up to you. I did it. For 52 years I survived. Away, hiding myself in the dark across the night, doing my stuff and moving along. Easy? No. And so why would this matter? I mean, well, it matters. This here, this is a water. And so the way I wash myself at night, my hair, is a very particular procedure, because my mother sleeps. I wash myself right here at this sink here. I put the head in there, I put shampoo, I shampoo the head, and I rinse. And then what I do, so the hair can properly stand up nicely, what I do is I would like lay down on the floor, and with that bucket that you have seen, I would do, you know, from behind, so that hair would nicely position itself. And this is the way I do it. This is just always the way I did. I wash my hair on let's say probably every 10 days. If you have a problem with a hair fallout, it doesn't fit in this video, it's just my advice, because I had a tremendous problems with the hair fallout. At one point in time, I had a seriously, right here in the middle, very, very much looked like Prince Harry when he had a hair fallout. And I was washing myself 3 times a week. And the more the fuck I was washing myself, the more hair flew out of my hair, out of my scalp. It didn't help, and it did agitated my scalp even more. And I started to scratch myself and wash myself. And if I didn't wash myself, I started to scratch myself. And it was like a cycle of losing hair. And before you know, you could, when you would look at me, you could see in the middle hair. It was going rapidly with a speed. and there was nothing I possibly could do about it. Some stated it was a puberty. They said, this is some man, this is the way they are. No, chemicals are not natural. On every shampoo bottle it says they're harmless, but this is precisely what is not the truth. You do have to rinse completely. This is why I use the bucket. You totally have to neutralize your skin for your hair follicles to stick properly inside with the roots. They don't get, I don't know, in English language, oinica, agitated. That's like where the oil is. In that way, you end up eventually losing hair. When you agitate your scalp, it's where the hair flies out. Just a little health advice, okay? My comrade, soldier, when I was in the military, is the one who actually saved me from losing hair. Why? How? This was a white guy. And white people don't have very strong hair, for what I know. Black people have a much stronger hair. But this guy, this Slovenian guy, native, he looked like a Mr. Bean. He had exactly the face like Mr. Bean, but his hair looked more like from Afro. It was such a strong hair that you could. No. He took the pencil and he just ping. Anywhere he would put the pencil would stick. The point is, there was no more than 2 centimeters of hair. We were in the military. Not even Afros have a strong hair like this. So I wanted to know, what the fuck is this guy doing different? It's not normal. I mean, genetic is something, but you know, I wanted to find out what his hygiene, what his habits are about the hair. So he trusted me that he's washing his hair once a month or twice or once every 2 months. And I know that for the most of the people that will be like, he was a really, really casual, laid-back guy. But I took a deeper look in it, and it actually what saved my hair. The best that you can do for your hair is exactly what I described. Police that observe, that watch video surveillance me inside of the house about my whereabouts and stuff I was doing, and I wasn't even doing much of it. This is what's interesting, because stuff I'm going to tell you about, it's perfect. This is perfect stuff. I can't miss this. I just washed my hair, just did my stuff, and so I'm doing this stuff, and you know, I said to myself, let's do the video about how the poisoning, how the police poisons. Where is this coming from? So this is probably going to be part number 1. I'm going to do some stuff now, and then I'm going to do rest in the daytime, just by giving you some examples. The way they poison is by basically observing you on a video camera about absolutely what you do inside of your environment. It's not about what is inside of your fridge, what you eat, what you buy inside of the stores. They watch you what you buy in the stores, how you buy in the stores, even watch you where you go in the store, whether you're buying organized or you're disorganized, what side of the store you go, what do you go buy, what kind of food you buy, is it expired, is it this, is it that. They rate health-wise your food, and they watch habits you have even inside of your fridge, how long you keep something, how long you do this, your cleanliness, your absolutely everything you do, every millimeter of your life before they start to engineer extermination procedure against you. in particular the type of extermination procedure which they categorize under the paranoid schizophrenia. Because remember, they have to not only keep the paranoid schizophrenia alive. Paranoid schizophrenia is not curable because, number one, it's a police job for one to exist. It's not curable because police would lose a lot of work, psychiatrists even more. It's a business. For the main part, paranoid schizophrenia is a business. That's for the main part. And so definitely it's not curable. Because it absorbs every millimeter of your life. That's what it takes to prove you that you are a paranoid schizophrenic. And if they cannot prove you that you are a paranoid schizophrenic, if you take it to the internet and you start to fight them toe to toe, and they're losing the fight, they will not give up the fight for as long. They're not going to give up the fight, all the way to subjecting you to the torture, not only to your president of the state, human rights ombudsmans, United Nations, court in Strasbourg, but throughout the world, with the politicians, with random people that will find their way around you, and dare you, bully you, challenge you to see what exactly is it. Do you eventually remember something, or would it, the torture they did on you, eventually even classified as a form of proof that something is wrong with you? It's a super disgusting world. Do you understand what I stated? This is the video that you have a good opportunity to learn from the best of the best ever. So that you know, so that you learn about, it's nobody like this that's gonna come and replace this. This is priceless. This is what psychiatrists don't even have authority or police to explain you, is what I do. And I do it better than what they would do. But this is in their manual of work. This is their work procedure. This is the stuff they do. Not also do, but in a great way do. I'm not the only person who was subject to this type of procedure, but I'm the only person that managed to break through with overwhelming amount of proofs too. Perfect hour, graveyard hour, yeah. If I would not work in a graveyard hour, they would have fucking killed me. And I use deliberately the word fucking. Why? The latest problem that appeared to me, since this is about how the poisoning is done, the latest problem that appeared to me was, there were two problems. One problem that already haunted me for some time, which is this, it's a tumor on this side. This tumor appears and it disappears, and it appears and it disappears. It's here. I did video recorded that, so no worries. Everything I say, it's video recorded. Everything I stated, it's proven. Audio and video. This stuff here haunted me for some times. It wasn't that bad at all, but about a year ago it started to explode. And more than a year ago. And the last month was really bad because it was painful, and it spread throughout this area here entirely. It was really, really bad. I would go sleep and it hurt. Another thing that started to appear was my being as you would have like picture, like, you know, like classic stuff, tumorous stuff. This is the stuff they were doing during MK Ultra. This is the stuff they were doing during MK Ultra. They indicated me that I do have a tumor, also a brain tumor, and it's for that particular reason that I have to take care of myself. Yeah. I got always a good advice from the British Royals. I hope you understand how frustrating this shit is to talk about this stuff, right? Because these people finance this. They, in London, examined me over and over again to see how much progress they have made with the Slovenian police in respect to poisoning. The procedure basically, this is a classic. There's such a thing like in Slovenia we say chronic. You know, chronic, like a chronic drunk, you know, like you say chronic drunk. I don't know what this in English is, but somebody who is just addicted to alcohol, and he is suffering from chronic issues, or he's got a chronic bronchitis, or he's got a chronic something that developed in his body that just no longer is curable, because it transitioned into some sort of autoimmune disease possibly, or it develops into cancer. Some type of cancer which can be dormant, can be, it can be, I don't know, again, I don't know the proper expression for it, but it can be not activated. It can be, it exists, it's a tumor, and if you would not, you know, do everything accordingly with health protocol, it would just activate itself. This is the kind of stuff in my body. They have created this type of chronic tumorous issues all the way from the left foot, and I mentioned your tumor, and it's left arm, and I have experienced the problem with aortic arch, even that one, and it was with the heart problems, and it was also with the colon cancer issues, and it was also probably the pancreas, kidney, liver issues. The teeth, they broke them. They worked a whole lot on me. They did a whole lot of stuff on me. They didn't waste no time. And so what exactly have they targeted the most? But the most they targeted is the lymphatic system in the body. The main target, I learned over the course of the time, was the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system and aortic system. I heard them talking about the problem with aorta and stuff like this, but I do not believe that is the case. I don't think so that is the case, because I did expose the body to ultimate tests. I did tested myself for the heart problems, and I do not anticipate it's the heart problems that I suffered from. All through this stuff, you never know, this stuff can turn in the opposite direction tomorrow, as early as tomorrow, you know. Why? Well, because, you know, inside of your autobahn, inside of your roads that you have, that's basically vein, arteries, tubes, where there is a blood flow. There can be different sorts of issues that can format, anywhere from blood clots and, you know, all the way to anemic problems that end up tearing them apart. And before you know, you can have, or due to low pressure, if it's somewhere, something that is stuck or whatever, you can have a stroke, you can have a normal blood flow where you can have obstruction in your system, can bust veins. It's a damage that starts to add up over the course of the time, results in a big problem, in a fracture, in a burst, I should say, in stroke and all kinds of issues. But as far as my heart issues, I can tell you that I did it at once. It was 2 years ago. I pulled myself at once 50 times. I did 50 pull-ups and 50 push-ups at once. That's 100 at once without taking any break. This is very, very few sporty people that could do something like this. And the thing about it is that was 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago, not anymore, because I experienced problems that I could not even go up the stairs. There could be a problem with my heart because of also what they suggested to MK Ultra. I had pain with this area here, especially when I would go to sleep. It would not only be a blood clots that would form in the left foot, but it would be classic issues Prince William insisted me that pertain to the heart problem, to the cardiovascular health. Very serious problems indeed. What kind of possibility is this? You know, when you have pressure blowing through your ears 24/7 and they don't tell you anything when you go to hospital, check yourself like I did. In Poland and in Slovenia, I don't know what the fuck I would tell you. Obviously, I am dealing with the animals, not with the people, but with the animals. And the circumstances I'm in are a bit different than from what pertains to the individuals that are subjected to the normal circumstances. The only time healthcare in my case was used when I was thrown inside of the psychiatric hospital, basically to hospitalize me, fill me with the pills, and to pay to compensate for the bill. This is it. Other than that, I don't know. That's all there was to it. It's worse actually, but I'm not going to go so far. And so I am giving you just a little taste about what goes on. A little bit earlier I stated to you, if I wouldn't work at night, they would kill me, right? Well, with what is, since I mentioned a little earlier, I mentioned to you aortic arch problem, and I mentioned to you a tumor here on this side they created. Yes, because there is too many issues that apply to me personally, whom they have during MK Ultra subjected to the certain torture that requires, for this type of injuries they created, stay at night. That is precisely correct. Not sleeping well, it definitely helps to the cancer issues. That's one of the things. The second thing is, I found myself leaning into this sink here, and I come to realize that this was not such a big problem when I did this stuff, but my mother demonstrated to me, for instance, in a bathroom area where the shower area is also, we have a bath tube. When I was basically the way I was, way the way I used to, is what she claimed, the way I used to wash the clothing. Well, the truth, if you care for the truth, I did not have the right to wash the clothing, if you care for the truth. Because if I would go and I would wash the clothing, I would be, as far as physically attacked. There was no way for me to do any kind of washing. There was no way for me to do any kind of cooking, you know. There was none of that stuff for me available. None of that stuff was available. And so what exactly that means, my mom basically, let me demonstrate you back to. My mom claimed me during MK Ultra that she's going to demonstrate it to me on how I wash my stuff inside of the bath tube. And apparently that I used to wash inside of my bath tube. If I'm going to succeed with this, I just, this is going to do it. Was basically just like this, you know, like this, all the way down, standing up like this. So therefore, like this, and all the way down, basically. And that type of stuff. She promised me that she's gonna warn me about when I'm gonna go to the bathroom at one point in time, that she's gonna demonstrate to me how I do this stuff, yes? So she doesn't wash upstairs here, she does it downstairs. She's got the washing machine, everything downstairs. And so just a few days ago, as I did go there, and I did not video record, which is too bad, she demonstrated me like she said she would, to demonstrate me how I wash, because this is the stuff I was told that pertain to the tumor and also to the aortic arch issue problem. But this is far, 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 far from the truth. I did demonstrate the problem on my back, which concerns skin cancer problems. That was the issue. What I can tell you is that for about 5 years, because this was also the subject. This is about the poisoning. This is really about the poisoning, how it's done. For about 5 years, at least 5 years. For at least about 5 years, I have found myself drugged up. Actually, excuse me, 10 years, for at least 10 years. And that was Milan Kuchan who took the initiative in as early as in 1995. I will explain to you, this probably is going to be 2-3 hours long stuff, but it's really worth it. It's really interesting. It's something that never was seen anywhere. It's a documentary firsthand, better than any documentary anyone have created about the police psychiatric poisoning. In The year was, I think, 1995 must have been, if not earlier, you know. I would do, you know, the stuff. It was 94, probably longer than what I anticipated. This shit went on all the way to 2013. This shit went on for about at least 16 years. This was not a new stuff. This started in 1994, at least, I remember. I not only would do this kind of wash, drugged up, but what fucked me up in United States of America the most, this is what got me in United States when I'm gonna say, where I was taken from Slovenia. I was hijacked from United States of America by American Central Intelligence Agency, by the CIA. And then I was delivered to Slovenia, and then I was again taken back to the US. I experienced totally fucked up life because I had no fucking energy to do this stuff. I had no fucking energy to wash anything, even clothing, dishes, prepare food. I was all fucked up. And I close to had no will to be alive. I just basically somehow wanted to get by, and it was the best strategy one possibly could use was basically, as they were laughing here in Slovenia when they would deliver me, they would play this music, British Royals with the police, staying alive, la 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 la. All laughing, happy, Bobby, this and that, Bobby. And back in Miami, I was totally, Miami Beach, I was totally fucked up. This was definitely not a normal person anywhere near I was I. And I was far away from this fuck up here, but the torture went, just as in Slovenia, also went throughout the United States of America. Every state, I think every village throughout the US, every city in the US, definitely, but I mean, it was nothing other than torture night and day, MK Ultra. What fucked me up more than poisoning is what I bet you guys don't like to go and wash the stuff. I bet you guys don't like to go and clean the floor, wipe the floor, and clean the dishes. And I did the hand wash clothing, I always did. I don't think any one of you likes doing that shit, but it's got to be done, of course. And I do it to, I think, I don't know, I have to do it, I'm forced. I hand wash stuff just so that the soap that I use is absolutely rinsed out, because there's not even a trace of chemical left inside of my clothing, just to make sure, except inside of the clothing, for which they told me is the only way to keep the moths away. Whatever I washed and I stored out of the room, that is overwhelming softener that I used, because, you know, they brainwashed me that the only thing that keeps moths away, and they infested the moths. So this is about the poisoning, so you understand how the poisoning is done, how they murder and prove that something is wrong with a person. They infested the room and tutored that it's only that they're going to eat all the clothing, that they're going to feast themselves. This is what the moths eat. And the only way to keep them away is by using a lot of softener. And before you store the clothing into a plastic bags and stuff like that. I mean, I didn't pay attention to when I saw the fucking moths inside of my room, all the nightmare, and you don't imagine even what kind of nightmare scenarios they had. They even involved the moths into the scenario of when my father would die inside of the room, not inside the room. This is why I also know that my father was hurt. I know that they hurt my father. I know that my father was taken to the surgery in Ljubljana. I know that somebody punched him. I know that somebody must have hit my father, because it was years ahead of this. Police investigators, Nurse Janko, psychiatrist Kapsch claimed me that when my father is going to go to Home for Elderly People, the day that he dies, because if you remember, I talked about how the room was locked all the time. My mother kept the room locked all the time. It was everything done according to this procedure. Torture next to brainwash. They stated the day when the father dies, we're going to open the room from his room, and from his room is going to go like thousands of moths out. So I know that 100% not only the moths were planned inside of my room. This is what he talked during MK Ultra. It's like out of fucking horror movie stuff. They brainwashed with. I know that somebody hit my father. I know that my father was taken most likely without even having any kind of necessity for surgery, for surgical procedure to Ljubljana, where they did maybe inserted in his head whatever the fuck they did. Who knows what they did? If nothing other, they must have scared the shit out of him. De facto, police did organize hit on my father and got him to Ljubljana, to UKC, to perform surgery on one. These are all the proofs. There's so many proofs when I consider what went on during MK Ultra. It clearly suggests that police had hands in it. Let's just set this stuff out. We started to talk about the softener. Softener translated to the cancer. And I demonstrated you a plastic glove right there outside, yeah? So it was bizarre when my mother demonstrated me how supposedly did I wash the clothing, since they had me inside of the house, drugged up, washing the clothing. Remember when I told you that when I returned to Miami, I was all fucked up, and it was really not pleasant and so on. It was such a difficulty, all this stuff to do. Of course I was, because what the fuck, I mean, you're in the United States of America and you're delivered here to do some kind of washing clothing for you're being literally tortured far away from the country where you immigrated to escape this lunacy. And now you're not anymore washing the clothing. Now your hands are soaked into the buckets where there is softener, and your hands are all cracked up and totally fucked up. Eaten, completely, totally eaten from the softener, from the detergents they used, they compelled me to wash. This was one of the most bestial forms of torture. They performed, Milan Kuchan performed one of the worst, the most bestial forms of torture. This stuff started before I went to the United States, maybe even in 93, 94, during MK Ultra. First, what they did is they observed what I do. The second thing what they did was they deteriorated. Therefore, out of the habits that are unhealthy habits that you use in your daily life, whether that be real estate, whether that be law enforcement, whether that be nature of your work, whatever work you do, maybe somebody that works in the department for work safety, they would refer to that as a risk factor, Maybe you would have to perform something that would place you, maybe some sort of job assignment that would place you at risk. Well, these people blew the risk out of proportion. What would be just something that you would use, because I don't stick the hands in the bucket and wash like washing machine. I don't do it. I take the clothing, I put some softener in it, and what I do is I just make clothing enough wet so the softener gets in, and I just put my hands even into another bucket to make sure that the chemicals don't go inside of my skin, because the skin breathes. Immediately I put them out, and I leave the clothing inside so the fabric gets wet and it soaks with chemicals. Then what I do is, after half an hour, whatever, I come and I just squeeze that softener out, put that immediately into the bucket, which is full of water, basically doing my best to quickly as possible neutralize and dry the clothing, neutralize to the degree there is not even a trace of chemicals. Now, what they were doing with me, contrary to what I stated right there, they would have me keep my hands inside of the bucket for like half an hour at a time, with a police officer that would hit me literally, yell, scream at me, police officers literally, inside of the bathroom where the bathtub area is. Engaged in violence, physically, compelling me to do the stuff for like half an hour, even 1 hour, with the hands inside of the bucket. See, the hands would be strange, very, very, very strange, because the strange thing was that I used to train myself, and I would do push-ups on the knuckles, and my hands would be, you could see that they were from, the skin would be like hrapava, I don't know how you say, abrasive, because of the type of push-ups I would do. But it became fucking strange when this started to get bigger and bigger and wider, and I no longer was doing any kind of push-ups, any kind of exercise, and in the front area it started to get all abrasive with the cuts and so on. This was an active form of poisoning. We can say poisoning to the degree that your body would be totally saturated with the deadliest, most cancerous chemicals, which went on next to what were detergents. Such as this one here, for instance, which is a special detergent that is used for washing the clothing, and only white clothing, because it does have like chemical compounds inside, like bleach. You would find probably bleach in here, and you know, the chemical compounds, extremely powerful chemical compounds that would otherwise, if you would place this into if you would have a color clothing, it would simply wash it clothing away. Not precisely to the degree bleach that would cause holes in the clothing, but extremely powerful substance, the type of soap bar only used to wash clothing, was used in fact to give me showers after they would take me out for a walk, poison me, take me out for a walk, make me do exercise. It's going to be a lot about the exercise, because the poisoning was done mainly through the lymphatic system. It works extremely well because lymphatic system goes throughout your entire body, and if you cause serious damage enough to your kidneys, to your liver, to your internal organs, every time, of course, that you poison your lymphatic system, if you push your lymphic system to extreme, they make me do pull-ups, push-ups after they poison me. The only thing that happens is you start to develop chronic problems on your lymphic system. You start to develop tumors throughout your body. And this is exactly what was done. They wanted to create from me chronic autoimmune cancer patient. And in a big way, they did succeeded in it. That's what's horrible stuff. They targeted, they wanted to develop in me leukemia, brain tumor issues, replacement of kidneys, internal organs, that kind of stuff is what they targeted. They wanted to have a complete control over my life. In complete control over my life, they wanted to establish through issues that I stated, through the health issues. This is the type of, this is how the police does a poisoning. This is exactly how this stuff was done. I'm breaking down this to you as scientifically, as logically, for you to understand, relate myself to certain other issues that were also involved in it. Destruction of also hardware, computers, other equipment. Everything was done. Everything was entire destruction. Everything was standardized, almost identical, based on a technical principles. So now we go back to the poisoning that I mentioned to you, that I talked to you about, skin cancer poisoning. The chemicals that get in you, that's a skin cancer. Does this have to do something to do also with your lymphic nodes, with your kidneys, with your liver? Take a wild guess. You probably don't have to be Einstein to understand that issue. Thankfully, thanks God, I did not develop anything on my hands. I continue to use them best to my advantage, but the stuff they have done, and I think mostly was done by the soap, because they were even using fucking detergents that you wash to clean the clothing and stuff, to wash my back during MK Ultra and stuff like this. I mean, the worst part about it were not even detergents, like I mentioned to you, that were used, that police investigators, psychiatrist Peter Kapsch, who monitored and enforced the procedure, extremely to the torture, extremely to detail-oriented individual, in charged to be performed absolutely accordingly to his concept, to the what he claimed was the protocol. The worst part was they did not rinse the fucking soap from my body. And the soap literally stink on my body. Even when I would go on these Illuminati meetings, I could smell I could smell myself like a fucking, somebody put me inside a fucking bucket full of soap and didn't bother to fucking wash me off the fucking clothing. The skin started to fucking eat me. Everything started to fucking eat me. Find myself in the United States of America at so-called Kent Security with some guy who had a problem with the skin and stink like hell because he had a real problem, dermatological problem, and Americans trying to remind me about what goes on in my life right here in Slovenia. With many co-workers from the US that have seen this place here, they have seen this, the so-called Illuminati ritual, and they wouldn't or they couldn't do anything about it. So this is going to be probably in 3 parts. I am going to end part number 1. What I'm going to say to you is, when you lean your head down like this, down, there is a pressure, there is a blood pressure that starts to create yourself in this area. And if they created a tumor here, where they also stabbed with needles, with injections, I anticipate, there are very slender chances once they have revived these problems during MK Ultra on hundreds of occasions. They only have a booklet with whatever dots they created. The tumorous dots they created, they refer to them as Chinese traditional acupuncturing medicine. Don't worry, they're going to help you. Chinese are going to help you. Obviously, that was extremely sick stuff involved in it, trying their best to mentally make me ill. Hate Chinese. They were trying their best to make me be racially insane as much as possible. They wanted to get the Helter Skelter part number 2, something like this. You know, the London is just sick place to be, I think. Even go to London, you're gonna see so sick people, so mentally ill people on the streets that you know eventually you're not gonna see that anywhere in the world. It's not their fault. These people being subjected to the torture, they're not even aware of it. I find it bizarre for people not to discuss the issue about MK Ultra, when they already are discussing the issues about directed energy weapons, Illuminati rituals, where Illuminati supposedly drink blood from the children, but they're not talking about the real stuff like this. I'm shocked, because I was all over the world with so many people involved in it, with so many people who interacted with the British royals, with the kings of the corruption and organized crime, I should say. Yes. So yes, when you lean down like this, you're gonna have problem with the aortic arch in this one here. This problem here with the aortic arch, I will never forget. The first time they went after me with this problem with aortic arch was in the 5th grade, where the school master, the school teacher, Anton Butcher, was razrednik, like we say in Slovenian language, and I don't know how this is in English language, but this is the teacher that is in charge for your development, basically. I had this teacher that was in charge from my 4th grade all the way to the 8th grade. It was extremely violent teacher, and literally tutored children to perform what I will say to you as next. There was a child, they teach children, to a child in particular, that they would go with the hands like this, with the finger, all the way down inside, and would do like this inside against the aortic arch. Took me inside of the cabinet. A child would come with a few others. Go see your razrednik. We will go, and he would give the order inside of the cabinet at Osnovna Šola Grm in the 5th grade. Demonstrated one more time what he has to do to cause damage. Then we would go to the class, and then I would have, I don't know, 20 kids jump on me, and eventually one child would go and would just start to not choke me, but literally pull the finger inside and do the stuff for what he claimed teacher Anton Butcher did, and for what he claimed would result in getting me killed, that he would kill me. He didn't kill me, but it was the beginning of something they started, and this was in the 5th grade. So you can imagine what type of grammar school here in Slovenia. Fantastic. I did explain to you about what started to happen in 8th, 7th grade of the grammar school in respect to my left arm, needles, when I told you they started to stab. So this is not your, maybe even a typical school, and I don't know about your typical schools, people. I don't know about how you live out there, wherever you're at. But these are the issues to which British royales, and I know this because it didn't happen in Slovenia only, British royals would give instructions when meeting the Slovenian police in other parts of the world, including in Britain. did not bother to explain to me in the United States of America. They told me one time, this is the stuff, British royals alone told me, this is the stuff that we need to perform on you, that needs to be performed on you. And Prince Andrew did explain really well. At your very, very, very early age, not late. So what they do is they stab you with the needles. They do the job. They do the physical harm. The physical injuries are done when you are really, really, really young. And then comes the second part. The second part is for basically poisoning mostly your lymphatic node system. That means keeping the injuries they have created preliminary physically through the stabbing and other issues. I told you about how already the children inside of the grammar school, Novo Mesto, how it all started. As a child when I was, they would go and you would have children the same way as instructed by the teachers, literally jumping on the foods. Not only on this food, but also other food. This was the stuff that was used to create another sort of injury in the foot. It eventually came out. The police continued to keep one alive. Whenever I was hijacked from United States of America, thanks to Sia, I would have people smashing me with the boots, shoes, jumping on my foot and so on. Yes? So, yes, this is what we're going to do now. This is just the beginning. And I will continue, and I'm going to give you a lot of examples, timing and stuff, so that you will understand and learn how the poisoning is done. The preliminary thing is physical injuries, and then the second part comes, that means the physical injuries they have created through the needles, through the physical stuff that I demonstrated you, to keep them alive. Keeping them alive creates a secondary type of injury, which becomes a permanent type of injury. That's what's known as chronicle. This is end of the part number 1. At nighttime, why at nighttime? At nighttime because when I demonstrated you the bucket, one of the most effective ways also to trigger the injury on in this part, in this tumor they created in arch, is when I would lay down like this on the floor. I would have this bucket right behind me, and I would put the head inside like this, and so that's very, very, very effective because you strain the system in your neck area where they created the injuries. In the daytime, you just go to the fucking shower room and you wash yourself like normal person do. So the daytime, when they do want to kill you, they either fucking kill you, or they compel you into a nighttime. And when I say either they fucking kill you, you had no fucking idea what kind of problems I had with my mother. How far did she go to the distance to keep me instead in the nighttime? It's compelled, it's forced. In Slovenian language we say izsiljeno. Another type of injury that psychiatrist Peter Kapsch, for which psychiatrist Peter Kapsch started to laugh and suggest me, is when you get up, make sure that you go on this side, yes, and then what you do is you put your hands like this and you lift yourself up. As a matter of fact, he's staying like this. When you lay down, you put hands like this and you go slowly down like that. That way you prevent the injury in your neck area and you prevent the injury in your arch. Now this is a little bit fucking horror, but this is what the Slovenian police, with repeated injuries, with repetition of injuries they preliminarily created, accomplished on my body already sometimes in, I don't fucking know, but it goes probably to, it definitely goes before 2010, but I got to think about, that's 14 years ago when I had this kind of, about like 2005, I would say. So how would you like to go sleep? And put your head down like this. And how would you like to wake up? And put both hands behind like this and pull yourself up, or pull yourself on the right side of the body, roll yourself over on the stomach and then pull yourself up. Well, during MK Ultra they demonstrated me that this is finally what I had to do to every time once they would trigger the symptom, the tumors, the problems, they would keep these tumors alive. Toward the end of the operation, they would clean the system and also teach what am I supposed to do to not trigger. As a matter of fact, not so that I would not trigger, but so that I could keep alive under the mentioned symptoms. And every psychiatrist, every police officer out there will state that what I have explained to you right now simply are facts, not questions, not propositions, not guessing, simply a matter of facts. And we will continue with this type of lessons I will give you, more and more about the stuff, about how it's done, and precise exactly what was done, because it's really interesting stuff. There's a whole lot to learn. I will demonstrate to you what the university hospitals, what police is being, psychiatry is being used for. End of the part number 1.